part 6 in our series. We're nearing the end here. We're going to be covering the Marvel Superheroes vehicles from Toy Biz this time. There were only 3, so a lot easier to cover, and 2 of them were pretty weird. So in 1990, we got the Captain American Turbo Coupe, because we all remember Captain America driving around in a sports car. Yeah, so we had some little fun features there that we'll check out. And then the even odder Spider-Man Dragster, because we all know that the best way for Spider-Man to get around the New York traffic was in his dragster, because you can go really fast to New York in the streets, right? In the middle of the day. So we have that, because Spider-Man needed a car for some reason to get around. And then we have the, I thought, pretty cool, pretty controversial, the Punisher van that came out in 1991. Featuring a lot of guns, because it's Punisher, and other little contraptions. This is the rarest of the 3. I think it's one of the rarest items in this entire collection, just because I don't think they made a whole bunch of them. Maybe they didn't think they were going to sell, or just because it has so many pieces on it, it fell apart, didn't do well over the years. It's harder to find in the secondary market. It gets quite pricey, up to the $400 to $600 range, depending on how new you want it or in the best condition you want it. So it's got a lot on it. It's fun. It has a lot of parts to it. You know, in general, these vehicles were pretty cool. Just because of how weird they were. We did not need these 2. The Punisher van makes sense. These 2 were just very odd. So I think just when the series first launched in 1990, they needed something to go with the figures to give it a little bit more fun. There was a playset, which we'll be checking out next, and then there were these 2 vehicles. So we'll see how weird they are, how they were meant to fit with the figures that came out at the time they were issued, and we'll see what the best fit is and the best function. So why don't we come on in and check these guys out. Starting with this fun one here, the Captain America Turbo Coupe. So you can see him here in the great artwork in the front, showing all the features off of the vehicle, and then the back of the box. Now we have the Turbo Coupe here, and you can see the little sticker that's peeling here. This is brand new out of box. You can see the hubcaps or shields, Captain America written on the side with his trademark on it, of course. It's got a very Knight Rider-esque look to it. I like this little kit design to it here, and the spoiler in the back. And then you can see the shield here on the front. And that was the fun little action figure, or feature rather. You push this, and it would extend and it would knock down the bad guy. Now he had to be within like 2 feet to get knocked down, but it's a fun little battery ram that's on there. The bigger feature was the coupe, the jet or glider wing that exploded out of it. So essentially the doors would open here, you could take this out here, and then it would transform a little bit more. The spoiler wings extended, and the landing gear comes out of the bottom. So then that opens up, and you have yourself a full little glider vehicle here. I think they went forward a little bit, yep, and it locked into place. So you could land it if you needed to, and you could fly around in his little, I want to say, Bond villain chair with the turbines on it. It kind of has a little Bond gimmick to it, where it goes from car to plane, essentially. So, and then you would snap these wheels back into place, and then you would close the glider wing, and then you would put it back into the car, essentially, to then bring it back home, and that's it. The only other aspect you might see in there is a little wheel. It's not the best wheel for him to drive. It's kind of like a half wheel, and then it closes up, and that is the Turbo Coupe. The only figure that works with it is the 1990, well, I'm sure other figures could work with it, that is designed for is the 1990 Captain America. Now, he was released again in 1993, still the same figure, so nothing different there. And then again in 94 as the U.S. agent with the repaint, so he could fit in here too, but this is Captain America's car. So yeah, that is essentially the Captain America Turbo Coupe from Toy Biz with his driver. And here we have our most bizarre vehicle, the Spider-Man Dragster. You can see the artwork on here of him driving it, and then some of the fun features. Now the Dragster itself is, you know, not too bad of a design. He has the basic logo on the side, it's Spider-Man and its branding. He has the spider web, the whole costume on there, a little engine in the back, and the giant wheels here. Now the only feature was, oh, besides the storage, I forgot to show you, there is a disc that you could fit inside here. It came with 2 discs. So you get that little disc on the inside. If you get it underneath the bar, you basically just spun this a couple times. You could hear it clicking. And then when it got to where you wanted it, basically, there's a switch on the back right here. You just push that down, and it would launch. Now, it would only launch about an inch or two. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but that's as far as I get to launch. I guess you could angle it and then fire it forward too, and it might go do a little bit better there. The only other feature was this grappling hook you can see right here in the front. If you pulled that out, the vehicle would go to where it was. Just like Spider-Man swings around the city, it essentially functions the same way. Now, the only figure that works with it, and he's very difficult to get in and out of here, was the 1990 Spider-Man with the suction cups on his hands. We did not get more Spider-Man until 1992. So this was basically the only one that would operate with this vehicle. And like I'm trying to show you here, he does not come in and out of this easily. I don't know why they designed his shoulders, or they designed it so narrow in the compartment, the driving compartment, and he's got very broad shoulders. So it's difficult to get him in and out. You got to find like the perfect angle. But this is the only Spider-Man that will work essentially with this vehicle. So this is your Spider-Man dragster and his driver from 1990 in the Toy Biz Marvel Superheroes line. All right, so here we go with the Punisher van, the ultimate anti-crime vehicle. You can see some nice artwork on here showing off the features and all those great features here on the back. Now, this one has a lot going on to it. It could almost be considered a playset, but it's a vehicle. We're going to call it a vehicle. You can see the nice logo here he has on the side because, you know, you want to let criminals know who you are when you're sneaking up on them in your covert vehicle. You can see the little skulls on the back. On the top, you got some more stickers. Same array on the side here, and on the front he's got that logo still. Now, some of the cool features that you got when you're calling out here are the tires, these little spring-loaded blades that come out and will spin along with you to allow you to slash tires when you're chasing those criminals, and then they kind of pop back in and have a little twist so you can lock them into place. The front here, it has glass on the sides and on the windshield. You know, other than that, it's a windowless free candy van, so kind of scary, controversial. The doors open so you can get your character in here. Now, I went with the 1990 Punisher, cap firing Punisher, because essentially I had trouble getting the other one in that came out in 1991. You can see the steering wheel in there and that nice blue liner, which kind of matches up with the electronic Punisher. I just thought the backpack here on this guy was a little bit narrower than the one that came in 1991 that has this additional little piece sticking out. It makes it a little harder to get him into the seat. So when this came out, you had two choices of Punisher. I went with the cap firing one. I think the electronic one might be best because he doesn't even have this piece and he's all flat back, so you can get them in there even easier. But that is essentially the vehicle and its operator. Now in the front here, you have this bumper that lowers, and then these guns pivot out, and you have these machine guns here, essentially, that are on a track. You can make them go straight, you can make them go side to side, but that is the little hidden feature in the front, are these guns that tuck neatly into the bumper, and those go back into place there. And then other than that, you have the back, which opens and has its own little features. If you get your finger in there sufficiently enough, you get a little tricky in the back here. I know it's fighting me now. So when the back opens, it has a little trailer that comes out with a, I don't know what to call this. I guess it's a, it's like a mortar launcher or an artillery cannon or something, but this is on the back on a little trailer here. You can see it hooks up and you can pivot it up and down. So I'm going to take this off for just a second, just so you can see a little bit more of this artillery trailer, giant machine gun, whatever you want to call it, that is on here, and it has its additional wheels that are on here. And the doors, and I left the factory tape on them. You can see they're perfectly fitted for those same classic 4 weapons that have come with all the Punisher figures. You have the assault rifle, you have the handgun, you have the Tommy gun here, and then you have the Uzi, and they fit into the doors, so there's perfect little cutouts for them. And these parts are kind of lost a lot on a lot of Punisher vehicles I've seen, but there is this plastic that is perfectly grooved for each of the weapons, and the weapons kind of sit in there. I left the tape on them just so they don't fall out. But you can see how these little panels fit into the doors here and hold the weapons in place. Other than that, it's pretty empty in there. You can see there's nothing else in there. The last fun little feature is the top part here. So the top opens, and you have a little machine gun that comes out and knocks into place. And then if you have your Punisher, you could sit him up here with this little machine gun, and he could fire away at the bad guys, essentially. So another little fun little feature hidden in the top. But there is a lot going on this vehicle, so I definitely like it. And then it all packs away neatly, so you know, he could pretty much disguise what he's doing, essentially just murdering people. So that is the other feature of this little gun. This gets a little tricky. There we go. And then this tucks back, I think, this way and into the body, and that closes here, and these doors close up in the back. You gotta get it just right. There we go. That closes up in the back again, and that is essentially your Punisher van with your two optional drivers in this set, and that would be the cap firing and the the real machine gun sounds, which I gotta suggest the cap firing. If you were a kid in 1991, if you waited to 94, then you could go with the electronic Punisher, which doesn't have any back to it. So that is your Toy Biz Punisher van, the ultimate crime vehicle. Some odd choices there, but very fun. We had that Captain America coupe with the glider and that fun little, you know, charging out feature here for the front ram bumper. We have the Amazing Spider-Man dragster with this flying disc that doesn't really fly that far, and that fun little pull-out grappling hook feature. And then we had the Punisher van, the ultimate crime anti-crime vehicle, which definitely the coolest of the three. A lot going on with it. All those fun little features where things pop out, the hubcaps, the front guns, the top gun, the rear gun, you know, you can fit the character. You can fit a second character in here if you wanted, a little easier with that steering wheel. So a lot going on with this one. Like I said, it's rarer, so it's A, difficult to find in this condition, B, even more difficult to find it with a box. So hopefully that was a treat to see all of it together. And yeah, like again, these are not available anymore. You're gonna have to find them on the secondary market. This guy could run you several $100s, particularly if you want him new. So he is not easy to track down. And I think it's the coolest vehicle out of the set, out of the entire series. One of the coolest things Toy Biz made was this Punisher wagon here, or van, I'm sorry. It's definitely really intimidating and scary, all black. And the logos on it just make it even tougher. So yeah, this was your look at the vehicles. We're almost done with the series. This was part 6. It's almost been 2 months since we started doing the series. We're gonna end it with the play sets. There are 3 play sets, and then there are 2 play sets, which have a space in between because they're accessory sets for play. So we'll be checking all those out together, including that really, really, really cool training center, which was one of the first playsets ever made for Marvel figures. You know what? We're going to check out the first playset ever made. We'll do that in February. But for now, we're going to finish up this Marvel Superheroes line, concluding it with playsets. We got one more figure in that wave that was part of a playset, so tune back for that. It's a really cool one. And it'd just be cool in general because I really like the playsets. I think they did a nice job on that. But these vehicles, I mean, they didn't really add much, but they are just kind of zany and just a callback to fun stuff from the 80s and 90s when they needed to sell toys and they just made weird accessories to go with them, like these vehicles. So if you needed something to spruce up your line of Wave 1 and Wave 2, these were them. These helped you take it to the next level in your game. So that is all for this time. Check out our other parts in our Marvel Superheroes line here. This is part 6, so we have 5 other parts. You can check out all the figures up to this point and the supersize and the electronics. We also did Fantastic Four Toy Biz. We did that entire line, and we did the Uncanny X-Men and the Evil Mutants line from Toy Biz as well. That goes from 1990 to 1994. And I think we took it to 95 just because there were some cool figures, but it went away from that original line at that point. In 94 it ended. So so check out all those videos. Like, subscribe, and follow. We'll be having our final part next week, so tune back for that, and then we will see you next time.